cover, sociology, a new science in the last 100 years, but the Frankfurt School of Social Research. Tell me a little bit about that.
Frankfurt School of Social Research began in the 1920s in Germany. It was funded by a Jewish millionaire named Weil, I believe, and they established this institute of Frankfurt at the University of Frankfurt. That's why it was called that. These people were on the political left. They were Marxists, but they were, you know, sort of sophisticated Marxists, and they started to have doubts about Marxism with the rise of Hitler, because that showed that this Marxism itself could not appeal enough to these working class people who gravitated to Hitler eventually. Hitler was very popular. So anyway, as soon as Hitler came to power, he expelled them from Germany. They came over to this country, and that's when a lot of their most influential research was done. They wrote a book called The Authoritarian Personality. It's funded by the American Jewish Committee. All the central figures in this movement were Jewish. Max Horkheimer.
Max Horkheimer, you say?
Yeah, he was the head of the Frankfurt School, and then T.W. Adorno was another major player. And the point of the authoritarian personality was that ethnic prejudice is a psychopathology, that there's something wrong. It's not just that you're, you know, mean-hearted or have...
so it's actually a sign of mental illness.
Mental illness. You're something,
and didn't Freud do the same thing?
It's similar, and they drew a lot on Freud. If you look at the authoritarian personality, there are whole chapters where they, you know, it's very psychoanalytic. But it's a little bit of a twist, and it was more, it had a very large influence, because at that time you had the rise of the human relations movement, which was basically funded by the ADL and these other Jewish organizations.
ADL.
Yeah, and you started to have all these programs in the school system. You know. I
remember hearing about the authoritarian personality when I was in grade school in New York City. They linked Nazism to. I remember them saying that they were a lower education. They kept making the link between lower education and lower income, not motivated to anything more than, I guess, I don't know.
I think that actually that's another aspect of Jewish intellectual movements I haven't really discussed much, is this sense of intellectual superiority and moral superiority. But intellectual superiority is right there. In other words, I think Richard Hofstadter famously said that when he was thinking about conservatives, he couldn't think of any idea worth even mentioning. It was like so far beneath their intellectual level. The only people who were doing any thinking worth considering was